The Prelude by William Wordsworth. Book 4. Bright was the summer's noon, when quickening steps followed each other till a dreary moor was crossed, a bare ridge clomb, upon whose top, standing alone, as from a rampart's edge, I overlooked the bed of Windermere, like a vast river stretching in the sun. With exultation at my feet I saw lake, islands, promontories, gleaming bays, a universe of nature's fairest forms, proudly revealed with instantaneous burst, magnificent and beautiful and gay. I bounded down the hill, shouting amain for the old ferryman. To the shout the rocks replied, and when the Charon of the flood had stayed his oars and touched the jutting pier, I did not step into the well-known boat without a cordial greeting. Thence with speed up the familiar hill I took my way towards that sweet valley where I had been reared. 'Twas but a short hour's walk, ere, veering round, I saw the snow-white church upon her hill sit like a throned lady, sending out a gracious look all over her domain. Yon azure smoke betrays the lurking town. With eager footsteps I advance and reach the cottage threshold where my journey closed. Glad welcome had I, with some tears perhaps, for my old dame, so kind and motherly, while she perused me with a parent's pride. The thoughts of gratitude shall fall like dew upon thy grave, good creature. While my heart can beat, never will I forget thy name. Heaven's blessing be upon thee where thou liest, after thy innocent and busy stir in narrow cares, thy little daily growth of calm enjoyments, after 80 years, and more than 80, of untroubled life, childless, yet by the strangers to thy blood, honored with little less than filial love. What joy was mine to see thee once again, thee and thy dwelling, and a crowd of things about its narrow precincts, all beloved, and many of them seeming yet my own. Why should I speak of what 1,000 hearts have felt, and every man alive can guess? The rooms, the court, the garden were not left long unsaluted, nor the sunny seat round the stone table under the dark pine, friendly to studious or to festive hours, nor that unruly child of mountain birth, the famous brook, who, soon as he was boxed within our garden, found himself at once, as if by trick insidious and unkind, stripped of his voice, and left to dimple down, without an effort and without a will, a channel paved by man's officious care. I looked at him and smiled again, and in the press of 20,000 thoughts, "Ha," quoth I, "pretty prisoner are you there." Well might sarcastic fancy then have whispered, "An emblem here, behold, of thy own life, in its late course of even days, with all their smooth enthrallment." But the heart was full, too full for that reproach. My aged dame walked proudly at my side. She guided me, I willing, nay, wishing to be led. The face of every neighbor whom I met was like a volume to me. Some were hailed upon the road, some busy at their work, unceremonious greetings interchanged with half the length of a long field between. Among my schoolfellows I scattered round like recognitions, but with some constraint, attended doubtless with a little pride, but with more shame, for my habiliments, the transformation wrought by gay attire. Not less delighted did I take my place at our domestic table. And, dear friend, in this endeavor, simply to relate a poet's history, may I leave untold the thankfulness with which I laid me down in my accustomed bed, more welcoming now, perhaps, than if it had been more desired, or been more often thought of with regret. That lowly bed whence I had heard the wind roar and the rain beat hard, where I so oft had lain awake on summer nights to watch the moon in splendor couched among the leaves of a tall ash that near our cottage stood, had watched her with fixed eyes, while to and fro in the dark summit of the waving tree she rocked with every impulse of the breeze. Among the favorites whom it pleased me well to see again was one, by ancient right our inmate, a rough terrier of the hills. By birth and call of nature, preordained to hunt the badger and unearth the fox among the impervious crags. But having been, from youth, our own adopted, he had passed into a gentler service. And when first the boyish spirit flagged, and day by day along my veins I kindled with the stir, the fermentation, and the vernal heat of poesy, affecting private shades like a sick lover, then this dog was used to watch me, an attendant and a friend, obsequious to my steps early and late, though often of such dilatory walk tired and uneasy at the halts I made. 100 times when, roving high and low, I have been harassed with the toil of verse, much pains and little progress, and at once some lovely image in the song rose up full-formed, like Venus rising from the sea. Then have I darted forwards to let my hand upon his back with stormy joy, caressing him again and yet again. And when, at evening on the public way, I sauntered like a river murmuring and talking to itself, when all things are still, the creature trotted on before. Such was his custom. But whene'er he met a passenger approaching, he would turn to give me timely notice, and straightway, grateful for that admonishment, I, my voice, composed my gait, and, with the air and mien of one whose thoughts are free, advanced to give and take a greeting that might save my name from piteous rumors, such as wait on men suspected to be crazed in brain.